this week for Healing with Creativity, I'm talking about self-acceptance, and you may have seen my blog, 6 Ways to Practice Self-Acceptance. So you can read that at creativeu.ca/blog. I'll put a link. But today we're working on the creative exercise. So I want to show this to you. So today we're working on the creative exercise, and I want to show this to you, my process, right? And you're going to hear me talk about process a lot, and I know it's going to become the dreaded P word, process, but that's what it's about. It's about the process we go through to uncover different aspects of ourselves, our blocks, our what's holding us back, our belief system, all of that. And the more we can do that, the more we can grow into our most authentic self. So our process with creativity is to have intention. That's the most important part, right? So all creativity in my mind is healing. It's having that intention behind it to uncover specifics and to start working on certain things. So today we're working on self-acceptance. So the project I'm going to show you, I'm just going to flip over to the other camera and we'll get started. You don't need a lot of supplies. Whatever you have is fine. I'll have a list of the supplies there for you. You probably can see them. And but know that you don't have to have those supplies. You can use anything. And most of the projects that I have are like that. You can use anything. Okay, so it again is about that dreaded P word, process. All right, I'll switch cameras now. Okay, so we're going to do the exercise, the creative exercise that I had outlined in my blog this week on self-acceptance. So the first step is paper, right? So I'm just using my art journal. Any paper will do. And I had said, draw an outline of your head. So I didn't mean you had to like trace around your head, although you can do that. You can do a side profile, you can do a front facing. Because I am not a portrait drawer at all, and that's not what this is about, I'm just going to do an ovalish shape. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to put some eyes, an outline of a nose, and approximate space of a mouth. Okay, that's not the part that matters. So I have an outline of my head. Now inside of my head, I'm going to write positive qualities, positive thoughts, positive attributes about myself. And I'm going to use some markers. These are metallic markers. These are the Edding 1200 metallics, and I quite like them. They're just a basic marker. Anything will do. You could use pencil crayons, you could use paint, you could use pencil. It truly doesn't matter. This is about the process. So inside the head, we're going to write all the positive things. You can use one color. You can use 10 color. Like it doesn't matter. Whatever feels right for you. Okay, so I have added a bunch of positive affirming words about myself, things that I like about myself, that maybe other people have told me or I believe. And you can have lots or a few. The more you have, the better, of course. It doesn't matter how you write them. You could write them circular. You could write them all over like I did. You could make shapes of the facial features. You can write them so you can't even see them. That part doesn't really matter. What matters is putting these positive thoughts in our head, right? So that's the important part. So I have written things, well, I'll wait till the end because I'll show some juxtaposition that I have between my negative thoughts and my positive thoughts. So outside of my head, out here, I'm going to now write my negative thoughts or the negative qualities or the things I think are negative about me or that people have mentioned. So I'm going to use something that washes away, or paint, or pencil. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to, see, pencil would be nice because it covers up easily. And paint would be nice because I'm probably going to paint over it anyway. Okay, nope, I'm going to use the Neocolor Watersoluble. And the reason I'm choosing to use these, and again, it doesn't matter what you use, is because they wash away. And I want those negative thoughts to get smudged out. So I'm going to use those. I'm just going to pick a few colors that I like. So my negative qualities or negative thoughts about myself. I'm just going to say that as I've done these types of exercise more and more, the negative becomes harder. It's almost like I'm having to dig deeper. It used to come so easily. I'd have real trouble with the inside, but the outside came so easy, and now I'm struggling with the outside, and the inside was easier. So just thought, the more you do these sorts of things, the easier it gets to be positive about yourself. All right, so what I've done is I put negative thoughts on the outside, and because you're watching me, I don't want to share all my negative thoughts, so I've written some of them so that they're only for me. You can't read them. But I wanted to talk about the juxtaposition of positive and negative thoughts, because you'll see I have some things that are inside and outside. For instance, quick thinker and quick thinker. So quick thinker on the positive, when there's a crisis, I'm amazing at that. Quick thinker also means I tend to jump to conclusions, so it's a negative. So I'm really good about sitting after the fact and go, okay, I judged that way too quickly. There's more to the story. And that comes into my judgmental on the negative side is I tend to be a quick thinker, and so I judge a situation for what it is, or what I see it as in that moment, not for what it is. That's not true at all. And when I have more time, then I can release that judgment because I'm able to learn more and see more. So I have those sort of the quick thinking on both sides. I have an artistic, and somewhere in here I had artistic, creative. And so, or not creative enough, unartistic, but I have them inside and outside because I am creative. This is what I base my work on. But there are so many times when I struggle with coming up with new ideas. I think, oh my God, I'm not creative enough. Unartistic. I'm an abstract artist, so I really judge my ability to draw a face or my ability to draw anything, right? And say, oh, you're not an artist. But I am an artist. This is art, right? My abstract art is art. If you want to base it on selling, I've sold lots. But that's not what art is about. Art is about the process, and healing art especially. So I have things like fat. My weight has always been an issue for me, and I have a lot of negative thoughts around that. So these are some of the negative. I added a few others that just for me. And so those are my negative thoughts on the outside. Now I want to cover that up because I want to get rid of those negative thoughts. So because I used a water-soluble crayon on the outside here, I am going to use my really great Scruffy brush. Okay, so I want to cover that up, and I'm going to use my Scruffy brush. And this is I probably got 20 in a pack for $1 at the dollar store. They come in all different sizes, but this has been my favorite. I really hope it doesn't die because this has been my favorite Scruffy brush. I use it, and it holds so much water, so it's really great for stuff like this. So I'm just going to get in here and start to wash away all of this negative. Now, if you haven't used a water-soluble, you can cover it up with anything. I'm going to get to that in the next step for myself. But if you have not used something water-soluble, which is fine, it's all about getting rid of these negative thoughts, right? So let's cover it up. Let's get rid of it. I'm going to just make it a little less intense. I'm going to take some of that intensity out of my negative thoughts. Washed away some of that intensity. I'm just going to dry this quickly. now I've sort of smudged out, not completely out, but I've smudged those negative thoughts. But I want to get rid of those negative thoughts. So I want to cover them up. Now I could use, again, crayons, markers, paint, pastels, pencil crayons. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use paint, and I think my first thought was a dark color, black. Get rid of those negative thoughts. And I'm like, no, that's not, I want to brighten it a little bit. So I'm going to just add, and I'm not going to put, I just want to put some, I'm not going to make it really neat and tidy. You make it however you want to make it. I just want it thin enough that it's going to dry quickly. So I'm just going to cover up those negative thoughts. And again, it's not about the perfection or the outcome. It's about the process. And I know I say process a lot because that's the work we do. It's working through the process, using our creativity to help us heal, right? So if we're going to work on our self-acceptance, we need to start getting rid of some of these negative thoughts, because we can't really accept ourselves until we start to like ourselves. So how do we do that, right? So we have to figure out why we don't. That's a whole other step that comes. But let's just work on ways that we can start paying more attention to the positive. So I've covered up those negative thoughts. I'm just going to quickly dry that paint for the next step. All right, so I have my background, my negative thoughts are covered up, and now I want to cover up, or not cover up, I want to add and enhance those positive qualities. So writing and drawing uses different parts of your brain, different synapses fire. So I'm going to now draw some positive qualities. And again, it's not about what it looks like. It's not about the drawing. I'm just going to use my water-soluble crayons again because I have them handy and they're so much fun. So I'm going to just draw some of my positive qualities. Oh, my paint's not completely dry, but that's okay. So that's loving. Ooh, those are some big hands. That's kind. I'm going to do my creativity, artistic ability. Let's say creative. And let's do be kind to animals. This is a way I learned how to draw animals when I was in grade school, and I love these ones because you could do a cat, you could do a walrus, you could do a bunny, you could do all with the same basic shapes. There's my dog. With his big tongue. Oh, big tongue. All right. It kind of looks like a cross between a dog, a cat, and a bunny. So I've got all the animals covered there. Let's see. What else can I add? Oh, calm. I didn't add calm. I should add calm on there. As you think of positive things about yourself, add them. Add those things. Let's put it here. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to just add a little bit of color to those just to brighten them up a little bit in my own mind, not for anybody else, just my own mind. Let's really enhance those things in ourselves. And let's see what else. Just add a little bit of color here. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Oops. Dropping my crayons. Here's my easel. Give my puppy a little bit of color. Maybe I'll add some black outline on his ears. Add a little bit of color to his tongue. Oh, that's a big tongue. Well, some dogs do have a lolling tongue, so it seems fair. Give him a little pink nose. All right. That's my, oh, maybe a darker tail too. There we go. And oh, let's do these hands over here. I only have 10 colors, but we'll do a little shout out to Black Lives Matter here. There we go. That's kindness. Okay, so now my next thing, I want to enhance my face a little more. I want to know this is a face. So again, don't judge me on my drawing skills. I'm going to use this darker pencil and wow, that's not great, is it? And I'll just do a little bit of a nose. And I've given myself a mustache here. Let's just include those words in our mouth. My mouth is not that, my lips are really narrow, so that's much bigger than I would have. All right, I'm just gonna give myself a few eyelashes, you know, because I have a couple. And I'm gonna take my colors and add a little bit of color. I have hazel eyes, so I think I'm gonna do a few different colors on here because depending on the day, depends on what they look like. Sometimes they're very green, sometimes they're very brown, sometimes they're very yellow. So it's never any, you know, really cool colors. All right, do that, and I'm gonna do a little bit of lip color, even though I rarely wear lipstick. All right, and then I'm gonna take my water brush and just do a little bit of an enhancement. So I'm going to do on everything. I think I'm gonna give my dog a little bit of fluffy color, fill that in a little bit, because we want to bring attention to the positive, right? Let's give him a little, that tongue is really lolling. There we go. All right, that's our funny colored dog. We've got a heart over here. Let's just fill that in a little bit. This is the nice thing about these water-soluble crayons. They just blend so nicely. And my water doesn't really look like water now, but I know that's what it is. And my kindness hands, where we're kind to everybody. And my art easel. That's my scenery. Doesn't have a lot of depth to it, but it's there. All right, my sunshine. Okay, I'm also gonna do a little bit just to bring this face out a little bit. So again, I had used a water-soluble pencil. So I'm just gonna take my wet brush and enhance that a little bit. Give my lashes a little bit more flick. Oh, much harder to go the other direction. I'm not turning, normally I would turn my book, but I'm keeping it straight for you, so. Oh, I might have to add some pupils back in. So they're a little greener today, my eyes. Let's give myself this little bit of lips down here. All right. I'm just going to add a little bit back into the centers there. All right. A bit of shine. There we go. Can't really see that. Okay. So again, it's not about the finished product. It's about the process. That P word that I keep saying. It's going to become a swear word soon. So the idea here is to bring those positive thoughts to the forefront. Put those negative thoughts, bury them. Get rid of those negative thoughts. Hide them in all our positive. And the more we pay attention to the positive, the less the negative will take up space in our head. So doing something like this really helps to bring those positive thoughts to mind. So like I had said, it gets easier with time, the more you start to pay attention to the positive. The negative will start to drift away, right? It's when we put more emphasis on the positive. So from here, I'm going to challenge you now to get out a writing journal, or you can write in this same one. I'm using my art journal. And from here, start to write about this process. Write about how you felt doing it. Write about how it feels to pay attention to the positive. So that is my challenge to you now after doing this. So there's the exercise. I just want to give you, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I want to let you know. I'm just going to see if I can find a page. Okay, let me just go here. So when I'm journaling, I do my morning journaling and meditation class. And what I'll do is I will write in Tombow markers. So that's these markers here. And they're a water-soluble marker. So any water-soluble marker will work. Crayola washable markers, you can get them at the dollar store, are great markers for this. But any marker that is water-soluble. And what I do is I pick, typically, not always, but I'll pick 4 colors in the same family. And then I write I go around. So I'll write all one direction, fill the page, all one direction, fill the page, all one direction, fill the page, until all 4 directions have been done. And I do a different color in each direction. That's just my fun way of doing it. You can do other things. You can do it all in one color. You can do a design into it. I did a black square and wrote in black, and then I did gray around the outside and wrote in gray for Black Lives Matter. And so there's different things you can do, but I wanted to explain the Tombow markers because this is what I use for the base of most of my pages, because then I can add water. And sometimes I'll cover it completely, and sometimes I will just do something like this as a base. So for instance, this one I covered completely, right? So I did it in purples, blues, and greens, and then added water, and then this will be a base for a page. I was playing with my new stickers on that one. Just gonna quickly show you. Here's one where I wrote in, this is another base, but I wrote in a design. So I have blue, and I have this sort of browny green color, and blue and purple, and then I added a little bit of paint, and that's going to be a base. This is another one I did in purples. Oh, this one I did in pink, actually. This is a Black Lives Matter one. So I did, oh, I think the writing was actually in gray, but then I put pink over top of it. Just a sec, I wanted to show you. Okay, so for instance, this is the one I did for Thursday night's Create With Me. And you can see here, underneath, I've used one of those journaling pages, and then I've added on top of it. So I just wanted to give you some opportunity. This one, same thing, I wrote, washed, and then I actually wrote again in a dark pencil, and then I added some drawing to it. So just some different ideas. Let me go, I've also made a couple of this, let me just see, I've lost my pages now. So there we are back at our page. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I will see you on the other camera. Okay, bye. So now that you've created that, I would love to know your thoughts on it. So you can see me hiding behind. This is my version of it. I actually did a few different versions of it because my recordings wouldn't work. So they all look a little bit different. And yours is going to look completely different. It's not about copying mine. It's about doing your own, right? And that dreaded P word, process. You're going to hear me say it a lot, especially with this Healing with Creativity videos that we're doing, because that's what it's about. So hopefully you got something from that. Please let me know. Hit the subscribe button so you get next week's video and everything else that comes out. And if you want to create, on Thursday nights, create with me. You just need to register. I'll put the link there as well. And don't forget about our podcast and our blog, all the great things that we have to share that are there for you. Okay? Reach out anytime, hit reply on any email, and I'm there. All right. Have an amazingly creative day, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Thank you for listening in. Please remember to like, share, subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. You can find us at www.creativeyou.ca.